Hi there, this is Crystal with Opulent Monsters, and I'm going to show you how to make a circle skirt pattern for making skirty buns. You can use any type of skirt pattern for this, but I prefer, or to make a skirty buns, but I prefer a circle skirt because little girls like to twirl and they like to see their skirt open up when they twirl, and the circle skirt is perfect for twirling. So, how to make a circle skirt pattern. You're going to need a piece of paper large enough for your pattern. If you don't have large format paper, you can tape together some printer paper and that will work. So mine is from a bigger roll and it has some uneven edges, so I just drew a 90-degree angle to give me some straight edges to work off of. And we will get started. First, you're going to need to figure out your waist measurement of the pants. I'm going to make Twiggy. I like Twiggy large, sorry. I like the Twiggy for skirties, because the skirty buns, because the Twiggy fits a lot like a legging and it looks super cute on girls with the skirt over it. So I have printed off just the waist portion of the pattern because I have some templates that I use when I'm making monster buns. These are my plastic templates that I cut out from the patterns, but you guys have the paper pattern or you've made templates, but I'm just going to use this just to show you. So we're making Twiggy large. We're going to measure the top waist portion and the back waist portion and the front waist top portion and the back. Sorry. I don't usually make tutorials, so I'm probably going to step over my words a lot. The front is narrower than the back, which most pant patterns are going to be like that. Because the back you have your bum, so it has to wrap around more than the front does. So the front measures about 5 3/8 of an inch. I just rounded that up to 5 1/2 because we're using knit fabric and there's, the stretch and give. So just to make this easier, we're saying that the front waist measurement, and this is just on the fold, measures 5 1/2. So that's 11 inches for the full front. And the back is 5 1/2 exactly. So, but yep, 5 1/2 exactly. So that gives you another 11 inches for the full back waist measurement. So you add those together and you get 22. You have to take out your seam allowance. There's a 1/4 inch seam allowance times 4 gives you an inch. Subtract 1 inch from 22 inches and you get 21 inches. Now that you have your waist measurement, if you use any of the other patterns or the other sizes of Twiggy, you're going to have to remeasure and make your own measurements and redo the math. But for the Twiggy large, you will have the measurements I'm giving you. You can use those to draft your circle skirt pattern for the Twiggy large. Okay, so you have the 21 inch measurement, which is the circle around the waist with the seam allowance taken out, and you're going to divide that by 2 pi, which is 2 times 3.14, 2 times 6.28. Or I'm sorry, divide it. Don't multiply it, then you're going to get something really crazy. You want to divide it by 6.28. When you divide 21 by 6.28, you get 3.34. We are going to simplify that and just say that it is 3 3/8 of an inch. This is not a perfect science, but it will work. Trust me. So once you have your 3 3/8 number, that is going to give you your waist measurement. This tutorial makes a quarter pattern. This is what the quarter pattern looks like. The way that the gal who did this made it is so you fold the fabric in fourths. You know, you like fold it in half and then fold it in half the other way. And then you would cut it on the two folds with the corner of the fabric here, the inner corner, so that when you take it all out, you have a big like donut of fabric, which is great if you're making an actual circle, but the Monster Bunz waist goes lower in the front and higher in the back. So I'll tell you how to make all those adjustments in a minute. So you have your 3 3/8 inch measurement, and that is from here to here is 3/8 of an inch, 3 3/8 of an inch, and from here to here is 3 3/8 of an inch, and from this point all the way around. So you can do one of three things. You can either use a geometry compass, you can use a ruler, or you can use 2 pencils and a piece of string. If you're using the 2 pencils and a piece of string, just make sure that the string between the 2 pencils, once it's tied off, is 3 3/8 of an inch, and you would put 1 pencil in the corner and pull it so that the string is taut with the other pencil down and draw your curve. If you use a ruler, you're just going to measure up 3 3/8 of an inch, mark it, and then out from the corner just all the way around, mark it 3 3/8 of an inch all the way around, and then connect the dots with your pencil or pen. If you're using a geometry compass, it's hard to measure a perfect 3 3/8 of an inch using just the guides on the compass because, well, it's just difficult. So what I did is I marked up on my paper 3 3/8 of an inch, put the point of the compass down, and opened it until the pencil was on my marking, and then I drew my curve. Once you have that drawn, you're going to decide how long you want the skirt, how long you want the skirt to hang down. I like the skirt to hang just at the base of the bum once the pants are on, maybe just a tiny bit below it. You can make it as long or as short as you want, that's up to you. If you want it to hang just at the base of the bum, don't think that you can measure from the top of the waist to the bottom of the circle and that would give you that length. It won't, because remember, this part goes around the thigh, the inner thigh, and into the crotch, and the bum is actually right about here somewhere. So my measurement that I got, which I'm happy with, is 8 1/4 inch. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I will remeasure and tell you. 8 1/4 inch. So I like my skirt to be 8 1/4 inches long, or around there, just in the back at least, not in the front. So 8 1/4 inches, you're going to go from your original curved line, that point, up 8 1/4 inches. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, and then mark it. And you can use the same method, except for you will not be able to use your geometry compass for that curve because it won't open wide enough. I think it only goes to 6 inches. I mean, you could probably get like 6 1/4 inches out of a geometry compass, but it's really difficult to even draw a line that wide with one of these. So I just used my ruler and I measured 8 1/4 inch and marked, and I went all along that inner curved line and marked 8 1/4 inches, and then I connected the dots with my pencil. Then you cut it out and you have this pattern. Now the problem that I found with just a quarter pattern, making the Monster Bunz at least, is that the front of the pants goes down farther than the back. The back scoops up, the front scoops down. So if you do that, the front of your skirt hangs a lot lower than the back, and it makes it uneven looking on the body. So we want it to be an even straight line around as much as possible. So what I had to do when I used a quarter pattern is, once I had the fabric cut out, I had to trim down the fabric in the front to make it hang, to bring the skirt up to match the curve that scoops down. Now, I did mess up a couple of my skirt patterns, or the skirt pieces that I had cut, so to ensure that I'm not going to mess up anymore, because I hate wasting fabric, I am making a half pattern. And the way that I did that, I have it finished here, I'll show you. The way I did that is I made my quarter pattern, and you could probably just do all of your original stuff on one piece of paper, but I always make things more difficult than they need to be, so I made my quarter pattern first and then redrew it onto a bigger piece of paper to make a half pattern. So I made my little halfway line down the middle, and this is where you could just make a half, you know, cut your paper, not cut it in half, but fold it in half, or make a line down the middle of it, and use your geometry compass from your center point here, and just make a half circle instead of a quarter circle, and just make your life a lot easier. Or you can do it the difficult way like I did. So I have my paper, I drew my half circle, or my quarter pattern on to make a half circle, and this is what I ended up with. This is my original line here, my original circle line here and here. Now I want my back to come up a little higher than my front, so what I'm doing is, this is not a perfect science, again, this is just something that I found works, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing to make it work. I measured up a ½ inch from my original line and marked it, and I used my geometry compass then on that ½ inch mark, put the point down. I used the pencil to find that ½ inch mark, put the point down, and then I redrew my circle from there. So that brings the front of my pattern shorter than the back. The back is now a ½ inch higher, or a ½ inch longer than the front is, and that's the line I'm going to cut my pattern out on. So just so I don't make any mistakes, I'm going to erase the original circle, half circle that I had drawn on there, and this now has become my new circle skirt pattern. And you want to, you know, make sure that you know which side is your front and which side is your back, so you're not attaching your skirt backward or upside down or whatever it is. So I'm going to mark this front, I'm going to mark this back, and cut it out, and now you have a circle skirt pattern for your monster buns. When you're attaching this to the monster buns, you just attach it when you have your everything sewn up and you're about to attach the waistband to the pants. You just sandwich this in between the waistband and the pants, making sure that, you know, all of your right sides are facing out, and that your skirt isn't going to be attached to the inside of the pants, or that the skirt is going to be attached with the print facing into the pants on the outside. You don't want to make any mistakes like that. So as long as you have your pants with the print out and the skirt with the print out, and then you put your waistband over it and you just serge it all together at the same time. You just want to make sure that you put your back at the center back mark that you mark when you're cutting your pattern out on the pants. When you mark that center back and you mark that center front, you just want to make sure that you're lining up your front with your front and your back with your back, and you're golden, you're good to go. So in another video I'm going to show you attaching the skirt, like cutting the skirt out and attaching the skirt to the pants, but most of you will be able to get there just from this. So I hope it was helpful, and thank you. I'll talk to you again.